question says, as much as I believe Chan is worried about Malia's safety, I believe this situation with Chris could help him to have greater control over her. What do you ladies think? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Chan is a mastermind, and he's gonna, like Karina says, turn Malia into play with this situation, and use it to his advantage. And I mean, him being in his shoes, why would he not? It would be a terrible story if he didn't. So,
Um, so let's look back at the question again. It says, as much as I believe Chan is worried about Malia's safety, I believe the situation could help him have greater control over her. What do you think? I do believe this situation is like the perfect storm. This is exactly where Chan needs Malia to be. He wants that damsel in distress. He wants her to just, rush off into everything and be so emotionally involved to the point where she's not thinking. Because we do know that's the thing. Like people get really caught up in like these whirlwind romances too quick, too soon, and give too much, right? Chan is really wanting all of that energy from Malia. He wants to like fast forward. Let's be 5 years down the road right now, maybe a baby or two, right? He's ready for all of that. But it's like, it's in the beginning stages. You have to take your time. And he's frustrated because he's like, no, I'm ready to make you like mine. Like, let's nail this thing down. I believe Chris behaving this way, it does give him greater access into her life. He's already watching her and she doesn't know. But now that, he knows, then he can be even more overbearing. He can be, I'm calling you more, I'm texting you more. Let's put some cameras up in your house. It's like, she doesn't know that there are already cameras in the house, but now he has the license, he feels in his spirit that he has the license to do more to her, or in the under the premise of like, I'm here to protect you. I'm looking out for your best interest, right? And so I think that's the part. And so it's a perfect storm for Chan. Um, Chris is an annoyance, but this is the annoyance that he can use for his own benefit. What were you wanting to say about that, Carrie?
no, I was saying that was a good point. He can blame everything on the situation now. And I was thinking about the tracking device he gave her and the necklace or bracelet or whatever. Like, even no matter what signs in the future, the tracking device, the cameras. Oh, it was because of the Chris situation. Like, what did you expect me to do? You just want to sit here and just not do anything? I love you. Like, he can play it off for this Chris situation as long as he needs to, as long as Malia will go for it. So I that was a good point.
Chris gonna be getting blamed for stuff long after he's been in somebody's cornfield as some feed. You know what I'm saying? For the birds to eat. Like he's gonna be blamed forever. Chan's gonna be like, "Do you know what I went through? I almost lost you, and he was harassing you, Malia, and I love you." So I mean, this is gonna be brought up every single time he wants to be overbearing. Every time he wants to step on another man's toes. Where you at? Who you with? I called you 3 times. You didn't answer the phone, so I sent the police. You guys remember that video that went viral of that woman who broke up with her boyfriend and he couldn't, and he wouldn't stop coming over, and they were showing like the ring, the doorbell camera, how he kept coming over, she wouldn't answer the door, and finally he's like, "Well, clearly since you're not answering your phone and you're not answering your front door, I called the ambulance and told them that I believe that you passed out. So in about 2 minutes." An ambulance is going to arrive and they're going to kick in your door and they're going to make sure that you're okay. And me and Monica were like, this is diabolical. Like, I won't open up the door. So now you're going to call the police for a wellness check and they will break your door for a wellness check. So, yeah, Chan has gone too far. And it's going to keep going further and further because she's right in his spider web and it's sticky.
Every single time, oh, I haven't heard from you. I'm gonna call the police. Something has to be wrong, and I'm just like, you cannot just threaten me with the police every single time I don't answer the phone. I remember I was in the doctor's office one day, and he was blowing me up, and he called me like times, and this was like within an hour. And when I got out, he's like, I called the police because I don't know where you are, and I'm like, I was in the doctor's office. He was like, well, I don't know. Come meet me over here, or else I don't know that you're fine. I'm just like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. Guys,
Hmm.
really?
Was that last person? Girl, I didn't even know that he did that. So you was at the doctor's office, he calls the police and then says to you that he believes that you might have been kidnapped and you need to meet him in this location to make sure you're really safe, or he's sending the feds for you. Who does that? I'm telling you, the stuff that women have endured. I'm not saying that men don't endure bad relationships with women and being crazy, but this is next level, and y'all know it.
Question. I lost it when when Chan blamed Chris for Frank's mugging. I felt awful for Malia. He really made her believe it was Chris retaliating against her for not realize hold on. For not realizing Chris was in love with her. Okay. Do you think Chan regretted saying that to her after she broke down? I'm not. He shouldn't have said it in the first place. The fact that it came to his mind and he figured out some way to turn situations, but I don't think he regretted it. He knew what he was doing. he Chris is gonna get blamed for everything now, even after he goes through the meat grinder. Anything that happens, to Malia or with Malia or anything negative. It could be the shop or anything. It's going to be Chris, even if, Chan is behind it or one of his little, buddies or something, because she is under surveillance. Chris is going to get blamed for that too if if she finds out, that her house is bugged. And so, no, the fact that she was in that vulnerable moment, crying and, just letting it all out on the table. And he's like, oh, yeah, so by the way, remember when your dad got jumped? I think Chris may have been behind that in her ear. So I don't think he regretted it. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I agree. Although I don't think Chan is maliciously saying things to Malia to hurt her, I do think he's playing his cards strategically to get her right where he wants her. So when she did break down, it was just like, yeah, I'm helping her realize and understand I'm here for you, and you don't realize these things. I have to show you because you didn't even see this. Like so in the back of her mind, she's just thinking like, oh man, how could I be so foolish? Like I didn't even, it's okay, baby. I got you. I got us. This is why I'm here. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So he's playing his cards strategically. So I don't think he regretted it because this is a part of his diabolical plan.
You're right. It is a part of the diabolical plan because what if Frank starts to, start sniffing himself a little too hard and be like, well, it's just kind of crazy that, this guy comes around and before he comes around, we were all good. And then this happens to me. And I think he might be behind it. Like, I think he's setting this up. So just in case Frank ever tries to drop hints that, hey, it was actually Chan who was behind my assault. That doesn't make any sense. Why would Chan want to assault you when he came here and he helped us, right? That doesn't make any sense. But what makes sense is Chris attacking you. What makes sense is that Chris has been stalking other female students at the school and messing with them and their families. And, he's been stalking me. So apparently he went after you to send a message to me that if you're not on board for what I want, your daddy can get this work every day of the week, right? So that's going to make more sense. Just Frank telling Malia, it was Chan. He did this. Why would he have done this? Like why? Like that doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't fit together with the profile that Chan has created for himself. Him hanging people up in warehouses and beating them up doesn't make sense. People be like, well, that's her father. She should just listen to him. But at this point, Frank has discredited himself as a liar, and he does have a past with gambling. So when you have had a terrible past, with gambling, it can make people distrust you because gamblers don't always tell the truth. Sometimes they can be very inconsistent with their stories, oh, I was here, or this large sum of money came up missing because the dryer broke. It's like it didn't cost $1,500 for that dryer. Like you could have got one for $550. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to make it make sense. So I feel like Chan is definitely playing his cards to his full advantage here by trying to loop Chris into this. Yes, if anything does get found out, any bugs, anything that happens at this point going forward, Chris did it. Okay, and it says the next question is mine. Wait, so Chan has a security company? Question mark. Do you think he will employ the men who broke into her house and bugged it? Question mark. This man is a total villain. So yes, Chan does have a security company. He has many companies, which, he's telling Malia as she's breaking down about, okay, so my dad got beat up. I'm probably going to be next. And Chan's like, oh, don't worry, I got you. What we're going to do here is I have a securities company that I own. I'm going to get you a detail. Don't worry. So he starts to put all of this in place right away. Right away, he's dealing with it. He's taking care of it. So now Malia's starting to feel at ease, like, oh, okay, well, I'll have a security detail. We don't know how long it's going to last, but it's like, okay, I'm going to at least have some help, maybe get my family some support as well. It's all a part of Jan's brilliant master plan that, yeah, he has a security company. Yes, he wants to put a detail on her. And I mean, it's like walking around here with Secret Service. Be like, he really is setting her up for all of this. And it seems so romantic. It seems so kind that he would do this for her because it's like he wants to protect me, but he's the one who's putting you in harm's way in a lot of ways. But will it be the same people? I don't think so because he specifically called in a special organization to do what they did to bug her. I think Chan probably has some people who are in his organization who will be doing the security details, but that's just my opinion. What are your thoughts, Miss Kitty?
Yeah, I hope not. Them people were animals. And then looking through in her panties and smelling her drawers and, you know, being inappropriate and stuff. So I hope not. And if he does, I hope they would have enough tact to not, be so vulgar around her in her presence.
Not at all.
Right.
So the next question is yours.
All right. The next question says, the last scene of this chapter left us on a cliffhanger. Who do you think sent Malia that email that rattled her? I mean, it can only be one of a few people because, she has her handful of harassers. So I'm not too sure Erica knows how to send an email, but, she is a scam artist, so I won't discredit her yet. So, but, yeah, I honestly think it's Mike. She's not answering the phone for Mike. He's been trying to get a hold of her so he can cuss her out some more. So, what's their next go-to? What's the next thing that she may not see coming that she's just gonna accidentally open or pick up or whatever? So yeah, I'm pretty sure his number's blocked.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't
He
have
has to
any other way.
resort to emails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that old school. And then after that, he's gonna write her a handwritten letter like Chris and mail it to the house.
From an anonymous address.
Right. Send somebody to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Got a letter for you, Malia.
Letter
Yeah.
from Malia.
Yeah.
The last scene, yeah, it was a cliffhanger. So the last scene had, like I said, Chan is now putting things in place. He has started making phone calls, telling Malia, "I got you. Don't worry. You're safe. I'm gonna get some security for you." So she's starting to feel somewhat better. Like she's sitting down and it's just like, okay, this calmness is coming over her. Like, thank God, like this man is in my life. He's bossed up for Karina. Well, not for Karina, but for Malia, right? So, it would be nice to feel that way. Like when I think about it, I reflect as myself, even though I have never been through any of this and would want to. Uh, but yeah, she's like, okay, he's, Big Daddy's in town. He's making it okay. So Big Daddy, baby, Big Daddy's over here. He's working it out. So then she gets this email and she starts to read it, and Malia's like, "What the?" is this? Like she's just, livid. And so, it just kind of left off and like, who do you think sent the email? And so I have a hunch. I definitely don't think it's Erica. Um But Mike is relentless. He's still mad. He's still upset about the way he was treated. He had bought this really nice Italian suit that was, fitted for his body just right, you know, and he was embarrassed and it got onto social media like he got his face dunked in a bowl suit. So he's really upset. I think it could be him or it could be crazy. Could be Antonio, could be April. It could be a number of people, but my money is on. Yeah, my money's on Mike, but it could be even April. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna see each other at some point and they're gonna square up. It has to happen. It has to, right? April feels like Malia disrespected her. April feels that Malia is a threat. She's like, no, 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 because you're his type. And I think he might, what I'm saying, trade me in for you. April's not having none of that, okay? She wants to send very clear messages that Antonio is off limits. Malia ain't thinking about no Antonio. But this cliffhanger could be April, could be Antonio, it could be anybody. We don't know because this is Rose City and these people are complicated and they messy, messy. I mean, what if it was Mike's wife sending Malia a message or email? It could be anybody, but my money is definitely on Mike.
Alrighty. Okay. Chan is a walking red flag. He told me that he would stalk her to get close to her as well if he didn't know her. When do you think she will start to realize he already is? I think as more and more events have sort of like the graduation that he just showed up at, he were to be, at the right time. And now that he's worried about her, I think if like she's out and like, Chris showed up or even Mike, something like that, he won't be able to help himself and he's gonna miraculously show up, just like the speed dating with anything else. And then if she don't, one of the homegirls will be like, oh, do you just weird that, we just be out kicking it and then, Chance happened to just show up? Like, do you think he's following you? Or, hopefully if Malia, like hopefully she's gonna put it together sooner than later that Brady stalking her.
Kyria, what are your thoughts?
So good at what he does. He's so strategic. He's putting all the right pieces into play. And right now, he's got Malia to agree to a security detail. So he has full range to know where she is now at all times. So it's going to have to be something further on down the road where she's going to be like, wait, what? Or she's going to accidentally see into his emails or accidentally read a text message. And then it's going to be in her mind. And it's going to push her to, do a little bit more research. But, now with the security detail being on her, Chan has full range to stalk her whenever, wherever, however. So she's not even going to think twice about it. So that's my opinion.
I agree. I don't think that she will know for quite some time, and it'll be something that she stumbles upon. Um, but yeah, if he started doing stuff like showing up in random spots, and especially if she doesn't have a security detail, he'd be like, well, how'd you know I was down here? Like, why are you always where I'm at? Like, I don't feel like this is God anymore. Like, this has to be the devil. It has to be. It's not normal. So, but yeah, I feel like if he just keeps showing up or starts getting sloppy, then it definitely gonna come out like. But I really don't feel like she's gonna find out until they're really, really deep off into a relationship. They might be married by the time she figures out like this fool has, been stalking me for a long time. And then I think at that moment it'll be like she would go down a rabbit hole and probably become very afraid of like, you did all this for what reason? But yeah, he's in there. He's in there really good. And it's getting windy. And now my blinds are over here doing something. So if you hear some little noise in the background, that's just the wind blowing through the blinds. But yeah, he's in there deep, and he's a walking red flag. But when you're handsome and you're charismatic and you are giving with your money, all of these things, like, it becomes a blinder to the reality. And so that's why, my dad would always say, you got to be careful with people who are good looking. You got to be careful with good looks. And I'm like, you got to be careful with ugly things too. But when something is shiny and it's so beautiful, you can't help but think it has to be a diamond, you know? And so Malia is thinking, it's my turn, baby. I've been celibate. The pound cake has stayed moist and in a case for 5 years. Ain't nobody been over here doing nothing. She like, it's good stock over here. I've been working on my fitness, been working on my mind, okay? Like getting this degree, getting this paper up. Like, come on. Like, she feels like it's her turn. And that's the problem sometimes when you feel like it's your turn. And when it looks like it's your turn, you leap for, okay, ready, ready. And then it's like, oh, that wasn't actually my turn. Started too soon. Have you ever been at like a track meet and somebody started before they were supposed to start, or even at a football game? It's called a false start or whatever. And then you end up getting penalized for it. You got to move back a few yards or whatever. And it's like, Malia's about to be penalized because it wasn't her start. But she didn't know that though. It's not her fault. Um, it's like, it's not her fault. And she's like, it's not. But it's like when Kyrie was saying, what we said a long time ago, I think it might have been like chapter 7, where we're just like, can Malia's love change him? I don't know about love changing people. Because I feel like if love had the ability to change people, a whole lot of folks would have been changed by now, and they're not changing. I don't think it's love. Gotta be you. But yeah, I feel like he's a walking red flag. A sexy one at that, which is problematic. Any further questions before we end this segment?
I think it'd be cool to see Malia rise to the occasion and become a female head of the crime boss organization. That would be cute. But love can change people. It can change to hate. It can change to a lot of things. So be careful on what kind of love you trying to change, inspire people to change into. So.
Yes, love can definitely turn into hate. I know that all too well. But no, I don't have any final thoughts on the chapter.
They say it's a thin line between love and hate. And like Kyrie said, love can turn to hate really, really quickly. We can go from everything being beautiful to, oh, okay, you think you're playing with somebody. You got to give them the crazy eyes, okay? Got to just do what needs to be done. So. That's all for this episode of Rose City, the After Show. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 40. It's all coming to light. Don't forget to tune in next week when we will be diving into episode 41. He really sent this email. If you haven't already read it, like, what are we waiting for? Kindle Vella is doing something really cool. It used to be the first 3 chapters were free, but Kindle Vella was like, let's give people a little bit more of a taste, okay? So the first 10 chapters on Kindle Vella are free on Kindle Vella. So you really have no excuse, baby. Get addicted to this show. Get addicted to the book. Do what needs to be done here, okay? We're sure you'll be hooked. Love hearing from our readers. So please add your thoughts, your questions, and your theories to the comments, or reach out to us on Rose City, the After Show on Facebook. All links will be provided in the description as always. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week in Rose City. Bye.